Hello, it's Jennifer Harding Marlin coming to you from beautiful Montserrat, a very small island in the Caribbean located close to Antigua and St. Kitts and Nevis. In fact, you can see Nevis from a lot of places here, and I can show you a quick view. I don't know if it'll be visible with my laptop. However, there's just a gorgeous view of Nevis and Redondat, which is a small island. So I have no idea if you can see it or not, but it's just a gorgeous, gorgeous view. And so this video is going to talk about things to do on island and just a little bit more about my thoughts and impressions of being here. I've always wanted to come here, but I've never had the opportunity to do so. And so I've spent quite a bit of time here, and so here are my thoughts and recommendations of things to do and see. So the population here is about 3,000 to 4,000. There's probably about 15,000 citizens around the world. A lot of people left following the volcano eruption. So there was a really large volcano eruption in 1995, as well as later in 2010, when part of the dome of the volcano collapsed. But the volcano, when it started having activity in 1995, unfortunately, a lot of the town and a lot of places got destroyed and had to be evacuated. And so one of the things to do is to come to the island and learn about the history of the volcano and go to the Montserrat Volcano Observatory and then get a permit to go in the exclusion zones so you can learn about the history and impact that the volcano has had. And it was really quite shocking to go and to be given a tour by someone who remembers what the town was before, and you can see their school, and you can see the bank, and you can see different buildings, some buildings that are fallen down but still semi-intact, and to learn firsthand about what it's like on the island and the impact that it has had on the island. In fact, here, Montserrat has a huge music history, which if you're someone that loves the Beatles, I'm actually staying at Paul McCartney's house right now. And so Paul McCartney would spend a lot of time on island. There's a lot of other artists that recorded albums on the island, which is really fascinating. I wrote some down because I couldn't remember all of them. So from Elton John, Durand Durand, Rolling Stones, Stevie Wonder, James Taylor, Jimmy Buffett, Boy George, and Sting. A lot of Arrow, I don't know if I mentioned that, but a lot of different really top artists would come to the studio here. And there's what's called Ulveston House, which George Martin, the producer of the Beatles, had a music studio, and when musicians would come in, and it's just so naturally beautiful and great. And so if you go to Ulveston House, there's old pictures, and there's people there that remember when these artists were on island. And in fact, I met someone who taught one of the top artists how to surf. So there's a lot of rich musical history. There's what's called Hilltop Cafe, which will have more pictures of top musicians when they were here on island and some of the songs that they produced while on island. So if you're someone that's into music, it's really interesting to see how many artists recorded albums here on island or were just influenced by the absolute beautiful nature. Being here in Montserrat reminds me a lot of Nevis. It's very quiet. It's even safer. It's a very, very safe island. I met a lot of people that are originally from Quebec, which is surprising because I myself am originally from Quebec, and so there's a lot of tourists that will come here. It's more difficult to get to. You can either take a small plane from Antigua or a small plane from another island, and there is a ferry system. But there are a growing number of tourists that are interested in spending a couple of months here simply because it is just so beautiful. It is super safe, and it's tranquil and peaceful, and people are very nice and approachable. In fact, I was without a car for a little while being on island, and when I was walking, people would stop and ask if I wanted a ride. And I'm not an advocate for hitchhiking or don't do anything that's not safe, but it's been very, very safe here, and people have been very, very polite and accommodating and helping to show you around the island. So I'll post the official tourism website in the description below, which will have different accommodations as well as different restaurants and things to do. So in terms of restaurants, I really enjoyed eating at Watermelon Cottage, which is a guy's house which has been turned into a restaurant, and it has a really great environment. You need to message him in advance. Typically it's only open for supper, and you're like you can sit outside where you're like naturally in the rainforest. It's beautiful. You can go to Ulveston House. You can go to like the attic. There's Andrea's Kitchen, which I had for lunch, local spot, like Breeze's Restaurant, Albee Beach Bar, Viewpoint Hotel, which apparently back in the day was like the meeting spot on island. So there are a bunch of like cute little restaurants throughout the island. You can ask locals as well or what their favorite places are to go. And so things to do, I think visiting the Volcano Observatory and getting more information and learning more about the history of the country could be an activity to do on island. There's Woodlands Beach, which has been my favorite beach for swimming. If you're looking for swimming, the water is more calm at that beach. There's boat tours to do, just like going to the beach to relax. So these are just some of the things like what you can do. There's lots of hiking. So there's the Oriole Trail, which is really nice. There's water sports if you want to do water sports. There's bird and turtle watching, which is really big. There's little arts and crafts shops. So it is like a very small, quiet island, but if that is what you're looking for, then I would highly recommend Montserrat. The website that I'm going to provide below will have like a really good overview of information about Montserrat. It does have personal income tax here, which is quite high in comparison to Nevis. However, I'll do a separate video about the digital nomad visa that they have here, which could potentially be something that may be of interest to some of our clients that are looking to spend time here on island. But overall, I'm very impressed. I do hope to come back, take the ferry and spend a couple days here, and just enjoy. It can be kind of a in-between going to St. Kitts and Nevis and Antigua. This could be a great spot, and it's relatively, rent or accommodations are relatively affordable. The cost of food is relatively high though, just like other islands. The grocery store is quite minimal here and compared to other grocery stores in the Caribbean. But overall, I'm really happy with the experience, and perhaps some people may want to consider coming here on vacation and or spending a few months here a year. All the best. Bye for now.